Hello guys, it's Alex from investary. Welcome to your 23rd basic Python tutorial. I've decided to move on and talk about reading and writing text files. Basically, Python, it's easy to read streams from text files that are basic. Basic meaning they're plain, not like Word documents, that type of stuff, and uses ASCII, which is ASCII characters. We'll go into more of that later on. I am doing this off a Windows computer. It may be different from a Mac, but it should be about the same. So let's just test something out. Let's open a new file and Control N for that. And we're just gonna write a program that shows reading from a text file. So first is opening and closing the file. So in order to do that, I'm gonna name a variable called text file, and the keyword is open. The parameters should be whatever the name of the file is. So let's say read it.txt is the most common extension that I know of from this, and R just means read, and it has to be in quotation marks or else it's not going to work properly. And then we are going to close this off. Okay, and there's a lot of things that we can show from this. Right now, we should actually, while we're doing this, let's just go to Notepad. I'm going to use the basic Notepad given by Windows, and I'm going to just make a couple of lines. Line 1, this is line 2, so this makes this line 3 or something like that. And I'm going to save this in my Python thing, and I'm going to name it, well, what did I call this thing? Read it.txt, and make sure this is that. Save it. Alright, and then let's just run this to see if it actually works. I'm gonna save this as read.py or something, I don't know. Run this thing, and it says opening and closing the file. It shouldn't do anything basically because we just opened it, closed it. We didn't ask to print anything from the read it file that we have. Now let's do reading characters from the file. So reading characters from the file, and then we'll do text file again, open. Actually, you can just copy exactly what we have here. Do that. Once you do that, you will do text file.read. That's a method, and do, let's say 1, and then do the same thing, and let's do read 5. And you can probably guess what's gonna happen here. If you don't, just run it, you'll see what happens. It says L and then LIN1. What happened here was that read reads the first character. I put 1, so it reads the first character in this thing right here. And then read 5 goes, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Reads the next 5 characters after you already read the first one. So that's when 1, 2, 3, 4 is the space, and 5 is the number comes into play. So read is just basically how many characters you do. Now, if you want to read the entire thing, all you have to do, and you probably can guess this, is have this right here, and I'm just going to print reading the entire file at once. And you can guess what's gonna happen when I don't put anything in the parameters right here. So removing everything, it's going to read the entire file right here, which is what we had and what we made right here. So that's what happens when you just don't put anything in the parameters of read. Now if you want to read a line at a time, that's also another way of doing it. To do this, let me print here, print read one line at a time. And this is another method that we'll be using. It's gonna be called read line. Read line. So it's gonna read line. You don't need to put any numbers in between it. It's gonna work. Close that, and it's gonna print basically exactly what happened here. Line 1, this is line 2, this is line 3. You see what happened there. Now if you want to read the entire file and basically put it into a list, that's a bit more complex. And in order to do that, let's do lines is equal to text file dot read lines, and with a S here. There's a difference between the two. I'll get to that later. Print lines and then print ln lines. That gives you how many lines that there are. For line in lines, print line. Text file, close, run that thing up, and you see this is in a list right here. And basically what happened was we put everything in here and then it printed out the list here. So let me explain what happened in here, because this is a bit more confusing. This is when you put the entire file into a list. So you get all the lines that there are and you print the lines. So that's what happened. Let's see, right here we printed lines. Read lines is the method that actually, puts it into a list. And we print the lines, so here we have this. Print the number of lines, which is 3. And then for line and lines, we printed out line 1, line 2, line 3. So you can see what happened there. So that's basically it for actually reading text files. You always want to, by convention wise, you want to close the text file so you don't screw around with the file, and just in case you do something wrong, it's gonna screw up the document. That's something you gotta be aware of. So that's one thing. Another thing is you probably should put wherever the txt file here in the same folder that you saved your py file to read the file, because if it's not in the same folder, it's not going to be able to read it. I put it in my C drive, Python 2.7, and both of them are saved onto that, so I didn't have to worry about putting a path name in terms of opening the text file. So that's something that you want to be aware of. So play around with this. There's a lot of other modes and stuff that we're going to get to, but for now, that's it. Play around with it, and be sure to subscribe if you still haven't. See you guys later.